Pradeep, can you close the presentation or the screen sharing from your end? Pradeep, can you close the presentation or the
Yes, sir.
No, it's fine. Good afternoon. We will begin this session. I'm just going to request first all the speakers of today's program to kindly open their video streams. That will be helpful. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, wishing you all a very happy new year. Welcome to this virtual roadshow on Prarambh, the Startup India International Summit 2021. My name is Deepak Mukhi, and I'm the Regional Director of FICCI for the state of Maharashtra and Goa. As you know, FICCI is one of the largest and oldest apex business organization in India, which articulates the views and concerns of industry and work with the government at various levels to address them. FICCI similarly has been working very extensively with the startup ecosystem for a long time, with an aim to be voice of these startups in the country and provide them a platform for policy advocacy, networking, consensus building on multiple issues. Uh, um, and as you all are aware that COVID-19 pandemic has adversely affected our startups, and there's a need for working collaboratively to ride through this storm and continue with the ecosystem's growth journey. Prarambh Startup India International Summit is one such initiative by Government of India, and we are here today to give you a little more information about the summit, as well as how regional startups ecosystem is being nurtured by the state government under the Startup India mission guidance. So without further ado, I think let us begin today's session, and let experts do the talking. And let me first invite someone who's the founder of one of the biggest software companies of India, a very highly respected Indian industry icon and inspiration for a lot of young Indians. And we are privileged to have him as the chair of FICCI Startup Committee as well. And under his leadership, FICCI has taken numerous initiatives which have benefited the entire startup ecosystem. So may I request Dr. Ajay Chaudhary, chair of FICCI Startup Committee and founder of HCL, to give the welcome address.
Thank you, Deepak. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, what I would like to mention is that I'm not talking from Delhi, I'm talking from Goa, because I live here pretty much half the year and half the year in Delhi. So I'm so happy to be here because Delhi is currently fighting 500 AQI and 1 degree temperature. So it's great to be in Goa. It's my honor to welcome you all at the Goa Roadshow for Prarambh Startup India International Summit. The prime aim of today's roadshow is to sensitize the startup ecosystem players from the state of Goa about the Prarambh Summit that is going to be held on January 15th and 16th and is being organized, and is being organized by the Department of Promotion of Industry and International Trade, DPIIT, Government of India. Prarambh is being organized to mark the 5th anniversary of Startup India. The Startup India initiative, as you all know, has provided huge impetus to the startup ecosystem in the country. Today, India is the 3rd largest startup ecosystem in the world, with startups contributing immensely to the innovation-driven growth of the Indian economy. India is also home to 30 plus unicorns, and with 11 unicorns have entered this club during the pandemic. So this is absolutely amazing for a country like ours. In line with the Honorable Prime Minister's vision of one startup in every district, India now has more than 40,884 startups recognized across 586 districts from 28 states and 8 union territories. I guess people from Startup India will give you much better data than I have. They'll probably have the latest, which will be much more than this, I guess. Now, Startup India has been successful in igniting the minds of young innovators and entrepreneurs across the country. The current median age of founder entrepreneurs is only 31. These startups have also come from more than 48 different industrial sectors. The Indian startup ecosystem has seen substantial growth in not only the metro cities, but across the length and breadth of the country. And close to 55% of the startups are today from tier 1 cities. The rest, 45, are from tier 2, tier 3 cities. So what it shows is that the startup ecosystem is growing all over the country. And that is really what the objective of Startup India was, to make sure that it just doesn't stay in the big cities. It should go to literally every small city in the country. In addition to creating a policy-led ecosystem, Startup India has also worked to create a market for our entrepreneurs. And the government e-marketplace, GEM, which what it is called, has 4,000 plus startups already registered. So I would suggest to all startups here today, please go and register yourself on GEM and take advantage of all these benefits that are being provided by Startup India. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic has exponentially increased the importance of entrepreneurship and innovation. Entrepreneurship is an adaptive wild card in this complex, emerging and uncertain post-COVID-19 world. Whenever that happens, at this moment, COVID is still there. How entrepreneurs can seize these new opportunities and take risks and increase the range of options available in the world as it navigates through these precarious times. One of the greatest examples is that today, India has become the world's 2nd largest personal protection equipment manufacturer, with industry worth 7,000 crores. And this has all got set up from literally May onwards. By the time the Honorable Prime Minister said, we want to have everything from India, let's make it happen, 1,100 manufacturers came up. And so the prices of PPEs fell when it was most needed. And that is what we have been able to achieve in this country, with small manufacturers all over the country participating in this. The smartest and the toughest will survive during COVID and later. Many Indian startups have been able to modify their business plans and create business continuity plans also. Several startups have seen tremendous opportunity during the COVID period. As a matter of fact, I was personally involved with 3 startups during this COVID period, mentoring them to create COVID products. The first one was a company which used to make robots from IIT Kanpur. And this company pivoted to making ventilators and high flow oxygen machines. And we made these world-class products in flat 3 months. Okay, so it's not just these companies, many other companies started to make ventilators. In addition, many other companies I was involved with, but one particular company created a product which could actually remove COVID from masks. disinfect COVID from masks. And the first installation, incidentally, came up in Goa Medical College. Okay, so interestingly, this product is being used here. And as a matter of fact, the high flow oxygen machine that was developed under my mentorship is also installed in the Goa Medical College, 16 of them. So, you know, Goa is actually seeing the impact of entrepreneurship during COVID times. Okay. And in addition to that, I've been involved in a very interesting product, which is called the COVID attenuation product. It basically makes sure that even if people are there in a hall and 50 people are there or 100 people are there, if 10 people have COVID, the 90 people will not get COVID. And incidentally, the first installation of this has come up in the CM's office in Goa. So pretty much all the products I've been involved with, I made sure they all came to Goa. So, you know, that's the interesting part of my involvement with the COVID products. But many people created many products. And interestingly, they've helped the whole country. So, lot of startups have had the risk-taking capability to actually pivot from their regular business to create products. Now, in FICCI, we have a fantastic project which we call the Millennium Alliance. And under the Millennium Alliance, we have a company called Saral Designs. And they started making, they're basically a low-cost sanitary pad manufacturing company. And they started making masks. And they've been exceedingly successful. But they also joined up with Mahindra Group to help them. And this has made it very easy for them to go all over the country and provide this product. Many other companies under the Millennium Alliance of FICCI are also being benefited. I would also like to mention that when I took over as chair of FICCI, one of the things that we decided in FICCI was to create a special program just for startups. And so what we created was something called FICCI for Startups. I would like all of you, all the startups and the ecosystem to please go and visit that site. It's called FICCI for Startups, and take advantage of all the help that we want to provide from FICCI to startups. Because at the moment, by the way, at the moment till 15th of January, if you go there and you register yourself as a startup, you will get free membership of FICCI for Startups for 1 year. So please take advantage, because we are launching a very special program, and we've actually had discussions with many other people to ensure that we will be doing deep connect with corporates for startups. So, you know, pretty much what Startup India started, we are just taking that forward in consultation with Startup India. As a matter of fact, the launch of FICCI for Startups was attended by Startup India. So I can confidently say that startups are going to play a major role in India and making it Atmanirbhar. In Atmanirbhar in every manner possible. Till now, everybody thought startups are all about apps and software. No. Don't be misinformed. They make very deep technology, hardware, as well as all kinds of products. So it's not just software and apps. It's a lot about making real products for the world. And next thing that I would like to mention is that clearly a lot of incubation support is required for startups, and that is provided by many programs that Startup India has started and DST has started, and many parts of the government. So pretty much the whole government is very deeply involved in the startup ecosystem. Aligned with the Prime Minister's Make in India campaign, Goa is encouraging entrepreneurs to make in Goa, as I've heard. So that's very interesting. And the mantle for enterprising Goa has been created around this whole idea of Goa making for India and the world. We've seen young entrepreneurs from Goa coming forward to address development challenges of the state with innovative solutions. And I do believe, and I think Ankita, you'll probably talk about it, what are the new startup policies of Goa and how that will help all the startups to actually look at Goa. I do believe that Goa today has a great opportunity to attract startups from all over India to come to Goa, because Goa is a great place to live, as I can definitely certify. So I would, right at the end, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our roadshow partners, FIRE, Forum for Innovation, Incubation, Research and Entrepreneurship, the Goa State Innovation Council, 91 Springboard, and the Goa Technology Association for coming on board this roadshow and supporting us in the outreach efforts. I would like to urge all of you, literally all of you, whether they are startups, incubators, accelerators, key ecosystem players, please participate in the Prarambh Summit being held virtually during the 15th, 16th of January, and interact with literally the best in India and the best in the world. We are actually gathered a fantastic lot of people who would be addressing startups. And you will gain a lot from actually participating. And if you actually want to display your products also, those facilities are also available. And I'm sure Kavya will tell you how to participate if you actually want to demonstrate your products in a showcase that we are having for startups. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chaudhary, for setting the tone for the roadshow and sharing how FICCI is taking various initiatives and how Goa can be a springboard for startups. In fact, much before the Startup India, initiative started, I remember a couple of my friends who moved from Mumbai to Goa, just taking a last line from you, a great place to live. With that notion, they have successfully set up their own companies and doing very well. So I think Goa itself has that kind of attraction, and with a robust policy, I'm sure it can attract a lot of startups and become a hub for startups. So thank you, sir, for sharing your views with us. Now moving on to understand more about the Goa startup policy and the ecosystem. I would like to invite Ms. Ankita Anand, who's the Director of Department of Information Technology, Government of Goa, and is also CEO of the Goa Startup Promotion Cell. She's a 2015 batch IS officer of the Arunachal Pradesh, Goa, Mizoram, and Union Territory cadre, and we will hear from her that how Goa is taking various initiatives for startups in this time. So over to you, Ankita ji.
Thank you so much, Deepak ji, for your kind introduction. Thank you, Ajay ji, for setting in the tone and giving us a glimpse into the Startup India, the world of startup, and how Goa has, taking a lead in this. I would like to share a small presentation without much ado. Is my screen visible?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes. So just to begin with, giving a glimpse of the 14 set of schemes which Goa government startup policy 2017 wishes to offer. And it has been there for the past 3 years. It has been given extension for another 6 months. And we are working on the new startup policy as well. So this pen picture, it shows how the 14 set of schemes which we have. I would like to give a brief of the schemes. We have IPR reimbursement scheme, wherein, if you have IPR registered for national, international IPs also, 50% cost incurred, it can be reimbursed. We have a matching grant scheme, wherein 25% of the matching grant or maximum of 25 lakhs can be reimbursed. We have R&D reimbursement scheme, wherein the local and the Goan startups, 50% of the R&D amount can be reimbursed. And in fact, for the salaries of the PhDs, they can also be reimbursed. The skill development scheme, which offers for the retail educational institutions, the internet subsidy, the power subsidy, the capital investment, the salary investment, that can also be reimbursed under the skill development scheme. Under the trademark reimbursement scheme, the company name and logo, that can be, the trademark, the cost of the trademark, 50% of that can be reimbursed by the government. For the leased and privately owned premises working, those startups which are working out of those premises, the internet, the software licenses, the cloud fee, that can be reimbursed. In fact, that is to the amount of 1 lakh per quarter. We also have incubation facility in the educational institutions, wherein a one-time amount of 10 lakh can be given to the education institution which holds incubation facility. We have interest subsidy scheme, when to a maximum of 3 projects, the 30% of loan interest can be reimbursed. We have the most utilized scheme. As you can see, the blue ones are the ones which have been mostly availed by our startups. I have tried to highlight the ones which have been mostly availed, that is the seed capital scheme, wherein a one-time 10 lakh grant is given in 3 tranches, 4, 3, and 3, which can be given to a maximum of 100 startups, which most of our startups have utilized. We have skill development fee scheme, wherein 50% of the fee, up to 50,000, can be reimbursed to the students who successfully complete a set of courses which are recognized by our cell under the skill training program. We have stamp duty scheme, wherein the stamp duty gets reimbursed. We have salary reimbursement scheme, that is also another most utilized scheme, wherein 50% of the fresher salary is reimbursed. A fresher is the one who has graduated 2 years ago at max, and which has a cap of 10,000 per month per recruit. We also have a co-working space scheme, wherein per seat basis occupation, 50% of the seat costs get reimbursed. We also have the technology fellowship patent scheme, wherein the technology educators, like they can provide IoT, AI, etc., machine studies. All those things can be included in the technology fellowship scheme. It was just a pen picture I wanted to give to all my startups, which I've tried in my 1.5 year of tenure to reach out to the startups to give them again and again this insight that these schemes, they are for you all. I mean, unless until they're utilized, the policy goes a complete waste if they are not being utilized by the startups. So the startup qualification criteria, as per the current startup policy, it says 7 years of registration, 25 crore turnover, not exceeding that, and pure plug innovation. In the new startup policy, which we are working upon, most probably we're targeting that it will come this year. It will be in line with DPIIT definition of 10 years of incorporation, and we'll try to include other aspects like to have a fund of funds, to have more facilities for the women entrepreneurs, to have for the interns also. In fact, we're working to have some interns also this year. So yeah, this is just a few statistics I would like to highlight since the launch of the policy. As you can see, the number of certifications were low. What I focused more was that the certified startups, they get the incentives. So out of the 108 certified startups, it gives logos of all the certified startups which we have. They have received benefits more than 1 crore in total. The maximum incentive dispersal was in from April 2020 to September 2020. That is the COVID times, and wherein there was so much testing times. Even Startup India has appreciated Goa government that we were amongst the first to disperse incentives even in these testing times, where our startups have put in their best to contribute, be it in the e-commerce sector, be it in the education and health sector. They are highly motivated to work. So government should also give maximum support to our startups. Again, I would want to highlight some of the prominent startups which have been closely working with the Goa government. They have received maximum benefits in the salary reimbursement and the seed capital scheme. And they are ranging from all sectors, be it IT, education, health, law. They have, reached out to us in more than one platforms, in more than one events. I just thought of sharing a snippet of all the facts to highlight the reach of Goa government. As of now, we have a dedicated startup portal, which we try to update, which gives information about the mentor network which we have, how many applications we receive. We try to assist them also in whatever pendency they have, whatever document is missing from their end. Uh, to enhance the startup ecosystem, what we try to do, we try to set up help desks also in the various incubation facilities, like they are the co-partners for this event as well, Fire and other incubation facilities. We have put on a help desk there because there comes up, what I found in the beginning was that startups were a bit annoyed with the government that they were not able to reach maybe, and they didn't have clarity. If you have a policy, there has to be some understanding also how to go about availing those policy and incentives. So we try to reach out more to them. A weekly meeting we try to schedule with them, be it an audio or video meeting. Pre-COVID times, we tried to have at least 2-3 meetings with most of our certified startups. And of course, WhatsApp was the fastest means of communication to reach out to them. We were always a phone call away. Initially, the startup promotion cell, it was in November 2019 when I took over. I was the CEO with no staff. So that was my primary problem, that there was no continuity. That made this problem aggravate even from January, February, March. And then finally, we got ENY team on board through Nixie route. Those 4 resources, they helped us, increase the awareness and reach. Unless until you know about it, you won't have trust or faith in it that these policies can be of much use. So we try to increase the awareness and outreach by social media handles. We launched this logo, a startup speed up scale up. And like you can see, we tried to do a survey, because when I reached out to DPIIT and Startup India greatly, immensely helped me in strengthening the startup ecosystem in Goa. We try to know that why is there a gap between the certification numbers in our policy and DPIIT certified startups. So what we found, there are various startups who are certified by DPIIT, Goan startups, but they're not certified by us. Maybe they have not reached out to us. So that's why we did the technical integration of both the portals, wherein the DPIIT certified startups, the Goan startups, they'll be auto certified by us. What used to happen, we have a high powered committee, which is chaired by Honorable CM. So most of the every application for certification also used to go to that level. That was as per the policy mandate. So by the, Honorable CM felt that there is a need that there should be some delegation of authority. And now at Secretary IT level, the certifications can be done. In fact, the second tranche approval also have been delegated to Secretary IT level. When I joined in, there were no operational guidelines for the second and third tranche. That also we framed. We made a startup dossier, because what we found is, as DOIT is the nodal department, mostly IT related, ITES related startups were there. So there is a need that there's a cobweb kind of integration with the various departments. So in the new startup policy, which I am working on, we are trying to make all the HODs as the nodals for their respective departments, because there are various agricultural startups and other startups, education-based startups. They don't have that much guidance from us, because we have a very small minuscule team. And now now this is the juncture when I am the CEO with no staff. We don't have any continuity. I'm not having any support staff right now. So I'm still working on that. I'm still working with the government to try to figure out how to engage more technical competence, be it law, be it financial competence, so as to have a proper due diligence of the incentive applications and to put before the Honorable CM for incentive dispersal. This picture shows a survey which we conducted with the 127 startups who have responded to our Google form. And so you can see the number of startups which are actually there. There might be much more, but who have responded to our survey. And primarily they're concentrated in North Goa district. And Tiswari Taluka is the headquarters, the Panjim area, wherein most of our startups are concentrated. The startups have also highlighted various other issues like internet connectivity issues and various other issues which are pertaining to different departments. We have also tried to provide them a helpline. We have also tried to link them with the concerned department. We have our new Goa telecom infrastructure policy, which has come in recently. And now Honorable CM has just announced that various applications have been approved. So that will further reduce, one of the bottlenecks, that internet connectivity issues with the startups are facing. That's why the concentration has been more to the capital region. So like I highlighted, the primarily we have ITES related startups, and the numbers related to others are quite low compared to this. That's why this made me think that we need this kind of vertical and horizontal integration across the department, and in fact above. These were a few programs which we launched. So what we did, every day we designated the Thought Leadership Thursday, FAQ Friday, so that daily there should be some kind of connect, some kind of wisdom sharing. Just like Mr. Ajay, he highlighted about GEM portal. So what I found out that there was GFR 2005 running in Goa government, and soon, very in a few 4-5 months back, GFR 2017 was incorporated. And in fact, I've told all the startups the product-based startups especially, to register themselves on GEM portal. We want them to get onboarded on the GEM portal to have their reach expand further. So like I highlighted, we first of all tried to focus on awareness and reach out. Thereafter, we conducted a few activities and events. Then we had certain actionables that we did in the high-powered committee, and we're still waiting for those achievements to reap some results. Awareness, like I highlighted, we have launched our social media handles, our social media channel. Recently, for the Prarambh Summit, we have even submitted a video showcasing, made by one of our startups only, what all Goa ecosystem has to offer. And in fact, because of the awareness and reach out, most of our incentive applications came in this phase only. Like I highlighted, the actions which we've taken, that we ace the processes. I mean, even a direct pitch can be made by the high-powered level by these startups. These were a few set of events wherein we gave the startups a platform, a launchpad to showcase what all they work upon in their daily lives. So Vibrant Goa Summit, wherein our startup booth was awarded the best of the best booth by Honorable CM. And Vibrant Goa Summit hosted 8 startups ranging from electric bike, from legal services, all kinds of. In fact, that was a surprise to me also, that so many things. That time I was just director IT, I was not CEO startup promotion cell, but that made me realize that Goa has such immense potential to for the startups to pull more startups in Goa. We organized the Startup VC Summit along with Startup India. That was another excellent initiative. And we also had organized the Microsoft Highway 200 Unicorn event in March this year, just before the Corona kicked in, where we had a fireside chat, various bootcamp sessions, and our startups performed really well. Sankhli Mahotsav, which is the constituency of Honorable CM, and to reach out to the last mile. There is a general parlance and general feel which I got, that startups is only for the more educated, the more both. Startup is a new thing for them. For the locals, it was important to reach out to them in their local language, Konkani, because otherwise the general connect I as a North Indian won't have. So then we organized one startup pavilion, in fact, in one of the KPM Taluka. Honorable CM has also launched a program recently, Swampurna Goa. Swampurna Goa is in lines of the Make in India campaign, and to give voice and stage to our local startups to showcase their products. All the IS officers across the state, they have been made Swampurna Parikshaks. I've been allotted personally KPN Taluka, and I'm focusing on that immensely to have more of startups coming out from various talukas. Out of the outreach activities, like I highlighted, we have launched various programs. We launched the Startup Dossier. It's a snapshot of the various programs which we organized. Looking at way forward, what I see is that there's a need for resource mobilization, maybe like I highlighted, some legal financial experts to help assist me in creating a wider reach to resolve their issues, to have a dedicated mentorship, outreach within and outside Goa. So there has to be a pitch test, which I'll be working again with Startup India, more working on to make it a work holiday, workation, to have such kind of attractive parlance for attracting as startups. To assist startups for the government projects and interdepartmental coordination is much more needed, and I am working for that as well. support to the startups can be in various formats. They reach out to us. They want some more knowledge about taxation, GFR. We have organized regarding GST also. We have organized one seminar, one talk. So they have also helped these startups. In fact, the amendments to startup policy, they have been already incorporated to have angel investors, like I highlighted, women entrepreneur, changing definition in lines with the DPIIT definition to incorporate more of startups within our ambit. So I guess I have more or less covered most of the things. And the last thing is the startup framework ranking, which now I'll be working on, because in 2018 we were one of the emerging leaders. And now that we have been incorporated in Y category of states, we really hope to make a good mark within the country as far as the startup ecosystem is concerned. And my last message would be just keep starting, because the start could be the revolution tomorrow. Thank you so much. I hope I didn't take much of your time. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to share an insight into the startup ecosystem in Goa.
Thank you, Ankita ji, for sharing that extensive information in a small presentation about what the Goa government is doing for the startup ecosystem, and I'm sure they are going to benefit from it. There are multiple, questions for you, but in the interest of time, I would take those questions towards the end of the program, and I would like to sort of first invite Kavya to share a little more about the summit, and then we can take up the questions of the audience. So thank you for your presentation, and moving on, I would now request Ms. Kavya Bandari from the Startup India team to to give us a brief about the summit, which is going to take place on 15th and 16th. Kavya, over to you, please.
Thank you so much, Deepak. It's an honor to follow the words of Mr. Chaudhary and Ms. Ankita. I'm Kavya Bhandari from Startup India, and today I will take you through a very short presentation on Startup India benefits, the upcoming Startup India International Summit, that is Prarambh, the National Startup Awards, and the State Startup Ranking that Ms. Ankita had already touched up upon very briefly. If you don't mind, I'd like to share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Great. Thank you very much. So, as you all already know, Startup India is a flagship initiative of the Government of India intended to build a strong ecosystem of nurturing innovation and startups in the country that will drive sustainable growth throughout the country and generate large-scale employment. The initiative has not only brought a sharp focus on startups, but has also catalyzed the Indian startup ecosystem and accelerated Indian entrepreneurs building innovative solutions for Indian and global needs. Since the launch of the initiative, several programs have been undertaken to contribute to the ever growing Indian startup ecosystem under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister and his vision of transforming India into a country of job creators instead of job seekers. As you can see on the screen, that India is the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. Now, what exactly is a startup according to the Startup India initiative? So, it is an entity shall be considered as a startup if it is incorporated as a private limited company as defined by the Companies Act of 2013, or registered as a partnership company under the Section 59 of the Partnerships Act of 1932, or a limited liability partnership under the Limited Liability Partnership Act of 2008 in India. It can be up to 10 years from the date of incorporation or registration. It has to have a turnover, if its turnover for any financial year since incorporation has not exceeded 100 crores, it can still be regarded as a startup. And if it is working towards innovation, development, and improvement of products and processes or services, or if it is a scalable business model with the high potential for employment generation, it will be regarded as a startup. As you can see that, nearly 42,000 startups have been recognized by DPIIT, and the recognition of these startup highlights the innovations and innovators of our country. Moreover, it enables access to a host of benefits offered by Startup India DPIIT. The process is fairly simple, and as you can see on the screen, we invite startups to apply through the procedure visible on the screen. But then the question comes that what does a startup need while applying for the Startup India certification? Your registration or incorporation certification, your director details, proof of concept or a pitch deck if available, patent or trademarks, that's optional. However, if it's there, that's great. A PAN number. So it's very fairly simple. And then, apart from that, now I will move on to the main highlight of our talk today, which is the Prarambh event. Prarambh as a noun, it means an auspicious start, and as a verb, it means to begin. So, aiming to bring together India's entrepreneurial force onto the global map, DPIIT is hosting Prarambh, the Startup India International Summit, on January 15th and 16th, 2021. The summit will mark the fifth anniversary of Startup India initiative launched by the Honorable Prime Minister on 16th January 2016. And the summit is aimed to lay foundation to the multilateral cooperation and engagement with countries from around the globe to develop and hone the startup ecosystems collectively. The 2 day long virtual summit will bring together over 200 speakers from across 25 countries to facilitate discussions on innovation, emerging technologies, policies, and enable government and international organizations to share their views and set the minds on fire, as Mr. Ajay Chaudhary had mentioned on our first meeting. Uh, the idea is to drive entrepreneurs to solve the problems and challenges that matter not only for India but for the rest of the world. Um, the main objectives of the summit are essentially to encourage and inspire youth for innovation and entrepreneurship, to exchange knowledge on best practices from the top startup ecosystems from around the world, develop capacities for entrepreneurial ecosystem, mobilize global and domestic capital towards startups, provide opportunities to startups for entering the domestic, private and public, and the international market, and showing high quality and high technology frugal innovations from India. Apart from that, the very crucial point is that we want to enable ease of doing business for startups and for investors. The summit is a select gathering of innovators, entrepreneurs, investors, regulators, industry leaders, and academic luminaries from India and across the world, including the BIMSTEC countries. Apart from deliberating on the good practices from best of the ecosystems from around the world, the sessions shall also be showcasing the spread and depth of entrepreneurship based on innovation in India. The idea is to attain the attention of global capital for startups in India, mobilize domestic capital, and provide opportunities of accessing international markets to our startups, and evolve enabling policy provisions. It will also inspire and encourage our youth, especially student entrepreneurs, to be job creators instead of job seekers. As I had already mentioned, that these are the various points that the Prarambh Summit shall be focusing upon. So you would have sessions from unicorns, the best practice sharing, social innovation dedicated programs, women entrepreneurship dedicated programs. An additional feature that we are introducing this time is industry and academia collaboration, encouraging more and more student entrepreneurs to enter the entrepreneurial world. And apart from that, the main focus, as I had mentioned earlier, would be to mobilize domestic and international capital towards Indian startups. Now, the inaugural session would be inaugurated by the Honorable CIM, and he shall address a gathering of innovators, entrepreneurs, investors, regulators, industry, and academic luminaries from India and around the world, including the BIMSTEC countries. Additionally, the session will also include remarks from dignitaries and representatives from the BIMSTEC states on improving international collaboration. The grand plenary will conclude the summit, and the session will comprise of reportings on the proceedings of the overall conclave. And the session will be graced by the presence of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. So please do tune in for this incredible Prarambh that is being organized, and we are extremely grateful to our partners like FICCI who have handholded us through this entire journey. So. Another big factor that Ms. Ankita had touched upon was the state startup ranking. So I'll just touch very briefly upon this as well. So the ranking of states on support to startup ecosystem was launched in 2018 with key objective of encouraging states and union territories to take proactive measures to strengthen their startup ecosystem. The implementation of state startup ranking framework has essentially been a capacity development exercise focusing on dissemination of best practices, mutual learning among states, and creating healthy competition among them for supporting startups. The ranking framework has proved to be a very effective tool in creating an ecosystem that supports innovation and entrepreneurship across the country, with 30 states and UTs working together on specific policies to proactively support startups. The third edition of the state startup ranking framework was launched in December 2020 and have made significant improvements in categorization of states, scoring methodology, and process of collection and evaluation of feedback, with the objective of making the entire process more objective and just and fair. The framework consists of 7 broad reform areas: institutional support, fostering innovation and entrepreneurship, access to market, incubation support, funding support, mentorship support, capacity building for enablers, with 26 action points focused on specific outcomes. States and UTs are divided into categories A and B for uniformity and a level playing field, and scoring is carried out on the basis of categorization. Best performing states will be graded in each reform area for all encompassing view of their startup ecosystem. Owing to the growing capacities of the states, individual officers shall be awarded for their significant contribution to strengthen the startup ecosystem under their jurisdiction. As a result of last year's ranking exercise, we hope that this year's states ranking will encourage greater innovation, participation, from states and UTs from across the country. Touching upon the National Startup Awards of 2020, so despite the challenging times, India's startup ecosystem has showed unprecedented resilience and zest for innovation. As Mr. Chaudhary already mentioned, several startups have put in their best efforts even in the COVID-19 fight. Now, as a successor to the first edition of the National Startup Awards of 2021, the Startup Awards of 2021 shall recognize and reward outstanding and exceptional capabilities and the demonstration of innovation by various startups across different sectors. Consideration will also be given to champion sectors identified by the Government of India, with a focus on improving India's manufacturing capabilities towards the mission to make India Atmanirbhar. The recognized entities will benefit from such recognition, not only in terms of being able to attract more business and financing and partnership and talent, but also to enable them to serve as a role model for other entities, budding entrepreneurs, and to inspire them to be more purposeful and responsible for their socio-economic impact. So, as these are some of the great success stories of our NSA 2020. For example, Skyroot Aerospace, Scapic Innovations. Apart from that, as we identify as we identify and celebrate innovations from across 15 sectors, 49 subsectors, and 6 special categories, we also want to highlight special categories of startups which have led women entrepreneurship, which have impacted rural areas, which are campus startups, potential for import substitution, innovation in COVID-19, Indic languages, and so on and so forth. The National Startup Awards will also benefit various startups as they award cash prizes of rupees 5 lakhs to one winning startup from each of the subsectors. The winner and 2 runner-ups shall be given the opportunity to present their solutions to relevant public authorities and corporates for potential pilot and projects and work orders. And the winners and the runner-ups shall also be given the priority for participation in various national and international startup events sponsored by DPIITs. Additionally, for incubators, a cash prize of INR 15 lakh shall be awarded to one winning incubator. And as far as the accelerators are concerned, the cash prize of 15 lakh shall be awarded to one winning accelerator. So, as I had mentioned before, these are the award details. And that's it from my end. And we really look forward to having your full participation and the participation of all Goa startups and entrepreneurs and innovators in Prarambh 2021. And we look forward to seeing you on 15th and 16th of January. Thank you.
Thank you, Kavya, for sharing that detailed presentation on what's going to happen in those two, exciting days coming up for the startup ecosystem in India. And I'm sure we'll have best of the minds, as Dr. Chaudhary mentioned earlier, in that summit. I would like to now open this forum, and we have already received a couple of questions, which I would take it from my end on behalf of the participants and request primarily, obviously, these are for Ankita ji, but maybe in general, to begin with, Kavya, you only, if you can tell that someone has asked that how this particular program would be helpful to early stage entrepreneurs or people who are looking to get into the entrepreneurship. Will it provide some kind of mentorship and support later on? You just talked about awards. So if you can just probably briefly tell that why they should participate one more time, then that will be helpful for everyone to
Absolutely.
join in.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that question. And let me just touch upon that question by saying that especially for a startup that is just starting out, that is in the ideation state, this program is absolutely important to attend. Why? Because you will be learning from legends. You'll be learning from the top of the industry leaders. You'll be learning from the top innovators, from unicorn founders. And apart from that, you'll also get the opportunity to connect with investors. You'll get the opportunity to connect with mentors who will guide you, who will support you. These are connections that will last a lifetime. Additionally, we have very important knowledge sharing workshops dedicated to early stage startups and towards student entrepreneurs. So if you're in academic institutions, we do have wonderful sessions coming up for you wherein you learn how to start your own startup at that early an age. And apart from that, if you're in ideation stage and you're waiting to understand how do I get to the market, how do I take my idea to the market, we do have sessions that will have top marquee speakers who will assist you and who will guide you on what is the right strategy to take your idea and to convert your idea into a reality. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, sure, sure. Thank you. That's helpful, Kavya. I would now take up some of the questions which the startups have asked about, probably more of operational side in Goa. And Ankita ji, if kindly can answer some of these. And one of the question someone has asked that is it necessary to startup to be registered in Goa in case someone is based outside Goa, and whether ownership in the company makes difference. So suppose one director has a 50% ownership, can they, apply for these startup funding or schemes which government of Goa has? So is there anything which you can share on is there any criteria, Ankita ji, for those kind of startups?
So his question is like, is it necessary for Goan resident to own at least 51% company share to avail these
Right.
benefits? The only way to avail this is to be registered and to be certified. We have just specified these three things: 7 years of incorporation, the turnover, and pure plug-in innovation. To avail certain specific schemes, we have, if it's a local, fresher, those terms are also defined in the policy. What I could see from the questions is they don't know where to access the policy document, which is there on a website, which I'll again share with you so that for the benefit of all, the policy clearly highlights who's a fresher, who's a local, who's a Goan, 10 years of domicile in Goa, and all those things are there. So very
Okay.
specific, clearly highlighted for all the schemes. There are specific things. For freshers, it's specific. For locals, it's specific. So for him also, there'll be certain criteria which can be highlighted.
Sure. So I think if you can share that policy, that
Yes,
detailed document, we'll be happy to circulate among all the registered
definitely.
participants.
I will just share this document on the
Sure,
group,
sure,
both the policy and the scheme. Yes.
sure. And the another question someone has talked about that you did mention in your last slides that you had multiple events and programs happening. So someone is asking, is there any platform in Goa where one can showcase the startup ideas or products to avail seed or angel funding to kickstart the startup? So
Uh,
anything which is permanent and not need sort of occasionally done sort of.
So that's what a permanency is missing. Otherwise, if we have a proper cell, only then
Yeah.
the permanency can be maintained. That's what is my issue at hand right now. As of now,
Okay.
maybe in future.
Okay. And another related question, and how do we avail seed funding? Probably people have found that IT cell was closed. I don't think so. It would be closed, but during COVID times, accessibility was a issue, not just
So
in Goa, but
probably
across India. Yeah,
what they feel
across
is
India.
actually there is no separate office, there is no separate paraphernalia for startup. Uh,
Okay.
Director IT is generally made startup promotion cell CEO, generally made. So in the respective offices we sit, so people don't know where to go. We don't have a special name and address cited anywhere. So
Okay.
I guess that would need some kind of awareness that I am the person who's sitting as director IT and I am the startup promotion cell CEO also. So
Okay.
you can
Okay.
reach out to me directly.
Sure. Since we also have participation from the educational institutes and students and their teachers are participating, they have also asked if there is any specific program for student promoting student entrepreneurship. So
Hmm.
anything focused on how do you actually encourage, at that early stage, at high school level or even at the college level, for students to take up an entrepreneurship. So how do we? Is there anything specific government of Goa plans to do on that?
So I missed on that thing, I guess. I was planning a mentor-mentee network because that was a feeder class to, to a startup. So that's why I did represented in Goa Institute of Management and other places, but no specific thing continued thereafter. We got involved in the COVID-related works. Even I couldn't personally follow it up. I will surely work on it. Mentor-mentee network that I would want to happen.
Okay, sure. Um Divya, do we have any other question? In case you would like to sort of take up any other question, if I missed out on anything, I saw some of the questions which I took.
No, so I think we're good on the questions.
Okay. So I think these were the questions which we had, and thank you for answering those questions. And since we are just about to reach the close time of the meeting, on behalf of FICCI, I would like to propose a formal vote of thanks, and beginning with all the speakers, Ankita ji, Kavya, Dr. Ajay Chaudhary, and we thank all three of you for sharing your, vision for the startup ecosystem and information about upcoming summit. I'm sure that this will, have a very different impact, especially coming from the COVID background. And as you rightly said that not just Goa, but in many places, startups have done exceedingly well during the COVID times, and I think there will be a lot of learnings out of this situation, and the summit would be able to sort of accelerate this process of growth for startups. I would also like to thank all uh, the outreach partners, FIRE, Goa State Innovation Council, 91 Springboard, Goa Technology Association. I'm confident that their members would be, participating in the upcoming summit as well, just like they participated in today's program, and will get benefit, out of this initiative. And we are extremely proud to be part of the Startup India International Summit. And as Dr. Chaudhary mentioned earlier, we request and urge everyone to participate in the summit. Over the years, FICCI has, played a very vital role in helping the entrepreneurship ecosystem, and this is one of the initiatives where we are partnering with Government of India. And Dr. Chaudhary has already talked about FICCI for startups. I wouldn't take much time on that. And with these words, I would like to thank everyone, all the participants who are here, who are watching this live on YouTube, for joining us. And we look forward to seeing all of you again during the Startup India International Summit. If there is any questions, you can write to msc@ficci.com or to divya.gajaria@ficci.com for getting more information, and we'll be happy to support you in registering, in participating in the upcoming summit. So thank you once again, and have a good day, and wish you all again a very happy and safe New Year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deepak.